Welcome to Aging in Recovery. I'm Gil Cintron, licensed master social worker and founder of Never Alone Home Care Services Incorporated. Ever since I began posting these videos, some people have asked what I think is a very reasonable question. If home care services already exist, why would we need services specifically for people aging in recovery? I think the answer begins with something I've already discussed in earlier videos. Addiction is very public. Recovery is invisible. Society sees addiction through the lens of the news media. It sees overdoses, arrests, homelessness, the psychiatric crises, the destruction caused by active addiction. But recovery is often invisible because people rebuild their lives quietly. They go back to work, raise families, establish businesses, pay taxes, help others, and become productive members of their communities. And many do this silently, quietly, for decades. What society is now beginning to confront is the reality that this invisible cohort is aging. People with 10, 20, 30, 40, and sometimes 50 or more years in recovery are now entering their later elderly years. And like everyone else that's aging, many now require aging services. Services such as home attendance, home health aides, assisted living, and nursing home care. But there is one important difference. Recovery is not simply abstinence. Recovery is a way of life. People in long-term recovery maintain that recovery one day at a time by building support systems, recovery networks, recovery routines, recovery communities, and for many, those support systems became essential to their very survival. And this is where recovery-aware services become important. A home attendant trained in recovery awareness may better understand relapse triggers, isolation, grief, the importance of recovery meetings, the importance of peer support, the emotional impact of losing long-time recovery friends, or the fear that many people have of losing the very recovery lifestyle that has kept them alive for decades. The same is true for nursing homes or assisted living environments. If staff understood recovery culture, recovery identity, and recovery support systems, they may be far better equipped to support someone aging in long-term recovery with dignity and understanding. And dignity matters because people aging in recovery fought very hard to rebuild their lives from a disease that remains incurable and often fatal. Many survive things they were never expected to survive. And now that they are aging, they deserve services that recognize not only their physical needs, but also the recovery journey that allowed them to survive long enough to grow old. That is what recovery-aware services are really about. Not simply keeping people alive, but helping them continue living in recovery. And I believe this conversation about aging in recovery is only beginning. As a society, we are witnessing another form of cultural lag. The recovery community itself has already been grappling with aging in recovery for many years. People in long-term recovery have been quietly discussing these issues in meetings, with their sponsors, and in recovery communities. Issues like aging, cognitive decline, chronic illness, mobility loss, grief, isolation, pain management, the death of recovery friends, spouses, and partners, and the fear of losing independence while trying to maintain their recovery. The recovery community already knows this population exists, but society and many of its institutions may now only be beginning to realize that there is actually a very large segment of the population that are aging from addiction, that have maintained a long-term recovery, and that are now aging in that recovery and require aging services just like the broader aging population. The difference is that this population often carries additional recovery-related experiences and needs that traditional aging systems were never specifically designed to fully understand. And that is precisely why recovery-aware aging services matter. If you have thoughts or opinions about this topic, I invite you to leave a comment below. I believe it's time for us to begin a broader public dialogue about aging in recovery and the service needs of this growing population. If you find these conversations meaningful, please like and subscribe to our video. Follow this channel as we continue exploring the concepts of aging in recovery, the invisible cohort, recovery-informed care, and the future of long-term recovery. This has been Aging in Recovery. If this topic matters to you, please stay with us as we continue to explore this emerging field.